Hi friends, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Marcy, and today I'm making chile relleno burritos. Now, I hadn't really planned on sharing this with you because I've shared how I make my rellenos with you before, but it has been a number of years, so I changed my mind sort of last minute, and I thought I'd share this sort of in a cook with me style, which is a little less formal. And the difference will be when I'm done making the rellenos, I just put them on a tortilla with refried beans, roll them up, and it's really simple, but super delicious. This is one of those things that's hard to give exact measurements for because it all depends on how many you're going to make. But typically what I do as a rule of thumb is I'll use 1 egg for every chili. And then you usually have a little bit of leftover batter, but it's always better to have more than less. Now I'm going to be using my Hatch green chili that I pulled out of the freezer. And you'll notice that these ones have stems on them. So after I roast and peel them, I will save a few with the stems on specifically for chile rellenos. And I even label it as such because I'm extra that way. But anyway, I do save some with the stems on, which makes it easier when you go to dip it in the batter. You don't get your hands all dirty. Of course, these are going to go in a burrito, so I'm going to have to cut the stem off anyway. But that's just something to consider. And then real quickly, the cheese that I'm using is Asadero. Asadero is very similar to mozzarella in that it melts really good. This is a cow's milk cheese, I believe. Yeah, I should have checked that beforehand, but I'm pretty sure it is made from cow milk and it melts beautifully. Muenster is another one that I use all the time. But use whatever melting cheese you have, and even cheddar. Sometimes I make it with cheddar. So don't let anyone tell you that you're using the wrong kind of cheese. You work with what you have and it's gonna be great. I'm also gonna add some chopped onion. Yesterday we had some friends over and I made tacos. So I took the leftover onion and I just wrapped it up. Oops, and I see a little piece of lettuce in there. No big deal, I'll just take that out. But that's optional. I like adding onion to my chile rellenos, but you know, if you don't care for onion, you can leave it out. So I'm just gonna get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is cut a little slit in my chili, and then I try to remove as many of the seeds as I can. And you can see that they're always at the top. Now, you're not going to be able to get every single seed out, but you just want the majority out. And this one, I'm going to leave the stem on so that I can kind of show you if you were making just regular rellenos. But the others that I'm going to make, I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the top. So it's definitely easier to remove the seeds when there's no stem. So once the chili has been cleaned, you'll want to cut your cheese, and you'll want to do it in some pretty thick slices like this, so that when it's in the chili, you have plenty of melted cheese inside. These chilies are a little long, so you need a couple of pieces of cheese. And I just realized I didn't put any onion inside, and that's one of the things I love most about when I make my own rellenos. So I'm just gonna reopen these and grab some chopped onion and add it in there. Okay, these are all wrapped up. Now I'm just gonna grab a plate, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the freezer just for a few minutes while I make the batter. And what freezing them does is it helps them stay in place so that they don't open up when we dip them in the batter. It's a trick that I only recently learned, but it really does make a difference. So I'll put these in the freezer just like that, and then we'll make the batter. All right, now that my hands are clean, I can put away some of this other stuff. I'll wrap this up. Remove the little piece of lettuce. And this can go back in the fridge. So now I'm going to separate the egg whites from the yolks, and I put the yolks in the smaller bowl and the whites in the larger mixing bowl. So now I'm going to make sort of like a paste with the yolks. And what I do is I add just a little bit of flour. Now, you don't always have to do it. I find that I have better success with my rellenos when I use a little flour. So this is probably about a tablespoon, like a heaping tablespoon. You put it in there. Oh, sometimes I use up to 2 tablespoons, but that's if I'm making like 6. And then I'm just gonna add salt. So that was enough salt for about 4 rellenos. You can also use garlic salt, you can add pepper, you can get as fancy as you want, but I keep it really simple. And I'm just gonna mix this together, and you'll see that it kind of forms like a thick sort of paste. And that's really it. We'll add this to our egg whites in a bit. So now I'm just going to use my electric hand mixer to beat the egg whites until they form stiff peaks. Okay, so once you have your stiff peaks, you can add in the yolk mixture and then just mix it real quickly. You don't want to overmix after this because you want it to stay as fluffy as possible. So now you just want to grab a shallow dish and put some flour in it. It's kind of like when you're making fried chicken and you dip your chicken in flour before you put it in the batter. It helps the batter stick to the chili. And I'm going to take the chili out of the freezer, get the pan going. Okay, so you'll see that they actually hold together nicely after they've been in the freezer. I'm just going to add some oil to my pan real quick. And you want just enough to coat the bottom of your pan. I don't deep fry my rellenos. Some people do, but I don't think that's necessary. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to cover these in flour, and then we dip them in here. And I'm purposely starting with the one that has the stem so that you can see how helpful it is when you do have the stem. Oops, and it already opened up. So when you dip it in here, you make sure it gets fully covered, and then you're able to pull it out like this. And I shouldn't have done it so quickly because my pan's not hot yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and take it over anyway. Well, maybe it's hot. Now, whenever you see there's like an area that's not covered, just take a spoon, grab a little of your mixture, and then you just put it right in there. And cover that up, and all your imperfections disappear. All right, so when one side is done, you carefully flip it over, and that looks beautiful. So you just want to make sure that you cook it on all sides. So I still need to get that one little side. And then I even have a special plate that I use for chile rellenos. My daughter would always tell me that I was extra because I did stuff like that. But I like having a specific dish for a specific meal. All right, this one's all done. Lay it on there. So now I'm going to do the other chilies, and these ones, because they don't have a stem, it's going to be a little messier. Dip them in here. I really don't like to get my hands dirty with them, but in this case, I have no choice. Of course, you can always use gloves. Again, you just want to make sure that the egg is cooked all around, so flip it on the side if necessary, and especially in cases like this where I added a little more batter. And this one is done. So to me, these rellenos aren't as pretty when they don't have the stem, but they're gonna taste the same. These are all done. And I'm gonna quickly make the beans while they're still hot. So I've got my pan heating with just a little bit of oil to coat the bottom, and I cooked these beans yesterday. I'm not gonna make too many refried beans. Just enough for a couple of burritos. And then, like I told you earlier, yesterday we had company, so I made tacos. I made a big old Mexican meal, and I had a little leftover refried beans from yesterday, which I'm just gonna add here too. I don't like anything to go to waste. So I'll just add those. And now I can grab my masher. Now, I typically like my refried beans a little on the runny side, but because this is going in a burrito, you don't want it too runny. You want it to hold together pretty well. So You use a little less of the bean water, I guess that's what you call it. And then also you let it cook longer so that it dries out. But these are already mashed, so I'm just gonna let them cook for a little bit longer. Now, I don't always fold the ends of a burrito. When I'm at home, I typically will just do it like this. And today is a perfect time to do that because the relleno is longer than the tortilla. But I'll do one where I fold it on the ends just so that you can see how to do that. So put some beans. And let me see if I can get one of these shorter ones. Slightly shorter, it's still too long, but I think I can still fold it. So you fold the end like this, you fold this end, and then roll it. And once you have it rolled like this, then you can put it right back on and grill it just a little bit longer so that it holds in place. So go like that, and it's not gonna take long at all. Okay, we are ready to eat. I'll go ahead and cut this one open so that you can see what it looks like on the inside, and hopefully it's nice and cheesy. And you can see the cheese right there inside, and I can hardly wait to bite into it. That is so incredibly delicious. And if you look, the cheese is nice and melty. And who doesn't love that? I really hope you try this. I hope you like watching this video. Like I said, I wasn't really planning on sharing it. This is just kind of a down-home meal, and we're gonna enjoy it. Oh, also, you can put salsa in it, but because it has a chili, you don't really need it. It's not like like you need a little heat in there, but it's always a good idea to have some on hand too, just to make it a little saucy. Hope you like this.
Thanks so much for checking out this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also follow me at Marcy Inspired on Instagram and Facebook. Until next time, blessings from my kitchen to yours.